Hey, everybody. I hope you're doing well today. Let's take a look at the exchange rate diagram and make sure we have it clear in our head and understanding what it is, how to express it, how to draw it. So here we go. All right, so here is the basic, take a look at it. It's really just a supply and demand, simple microeconomic supply and demand diagram, right? But what we're doing is we're changing the good that's being purchased from a regular good, say like a pen, to another currency. It's pretty straightforward. So this is the market for US dollars expressed in euros. So the price of the US dollar in euros is 80 cents. And that's where the equilibrium price is. And that means that a dollar costs zero point 0.8 euros. That's what that means. Pretty straightforward, right? Just like if this were pens, the price of the pens based on this equilibrium price quantity combination would be zero point 0.8 euros. Okay, so it's not really that difficult. You can think of it as really complicated, but all we're saying is that a US dollar at the equilibrium price costs zero point 0.8 euros. Okay. So what is that? So how do we label this? All right. Well, you have the price of the currency that you're concerned with, the market for dollars here and it's always expressed in a different currency. So this could be the price of Chilean pesos expressed in euros. And if that were the case, then you would have the market for Chilean pesos expressed in euros. And of course, down here, this is just the quantity of U.S. dollars that are desired, that are demanded, or that are desired at that particular equilibrium point, right? Zero point 0.8. Okay. So over here, you see this is the supply curve. This is the supply of what? Well, of dollars. Where? In the US. And this is the little thing that breaks away from maybe like a standard microeconomic diagram, but not necessarily. I mean, if you, not even at all, if you were to buy pens, right, this would be the microeconomic diagram for pens. Where would you be selling the pens? Well, they'd be in one particular country, in this case, the United States. So this is the supply of US dollars from the United States. And so what is one thing that's helpful in exchange rates, you need to think about this isn't really true. So that's why it's hard. But just imagine that all of the dollars in the world are in the United States and all of the euros in the world are in Europe, right? So that means that the only place you can get dollars is from the United States. That'll help you understand this supply curve. Okay, this is the demand for what? Dollars from where? People in the European Union. So this is people. This whole graph is saying that there are people in the European Union who are demanding dollars, and these are people in the United States who are supplying their U.S. dollars to the market. Okay, pretty straightforward, and you can see there's a nice price equilibrium here of zero point 0.8 euros in that quantity. All right, so that's how you would label it. And it's kind of simple. Like if all of a sudden people from Europe were demanding more US dollars, right? What would happen to the quantity and price combination? Well, obviously there would be a greater quantity up here to Q2, right? And the price of dollars, if more dollars were demanded, would go up, right? Likewise, if all of a sudden people from Europe didn't want to buy dollars, right? So demand for dollars went down. Well, the price of the dollar would go down and expressed in euros, maybe to like zero point 0.6, right? And the quantity would go to Q3. Super straightforward, right? And if we were to sort of think about do away with all of that and think about what would happen if demand, or rather if supply shifted, well, it would be the kind of the same sorts of things that any demand curve, supply demand curve would give you. So let's imagine that all of a sudden, people from the United States were started selling their dollars. What would happen? Well, the supply of U.S. dollars would drop, and as a result, there'd be a new price combination, and the price of the dollar would depreciate. That's called. Right. Well, what if all of a sudden, the supply of dollars, right, got small, which would mean that dollars got more scarce. What would happen? Well, there would be a change in the price quantity combination, maybe to 1 to Q3. Sorry, my pen is not working very well. Okay, so that's the basic idea. It's just a basic supply and demand graph. But what you got to think about is that the market is for a particular currency as opposed to a particular good. But the whole premise of supply and demand applies here in the currency market like it would in the market for pens. Okay, so I'm telling you that so you can get it straight in your head, but that's really only half the story. Let's take a look at the next slide to get the whole story on what happens in currency markets. Okay, so take a look here, and this is the market for US dollars. This is the exact same graph we were looking at before, right? And over here is the market for euros. And what I want you to get in your head right away is the relationship between two different currencies, because the thing that's tricky about currencies is that you're always buying one currency, right? So if demand is going up for US dollars, what are they buying this with? Well, according to this graph, they're buying it with euros. So if the demand for dollars is going up, then that would mean that the supply of euros is going up as well. Because every time a European wants to buy a dollar, they have to supply one of their euros to the market in order to buy a dollar. So as demand for the US dollar goes up in terms of the price in euros, the supply of euros is actually going to increase in the marketplace as well, because they are taking these euros and changing them into dollars. So immediately, if they start buying dollars with euros, the supply of euros is going to go out. So you're going to see this relationship because every transaction in the Forex market, which is the international foreign exchange market, right? There are 5 main centers, by the way, and they trade in London, New York, Zurich, Frankfurt, and Tokyo. And on every given day, they say that over like 1.5 trillion US dollars changes hands. Well, that's because you have a currency here that's being supplied to the market as a result of it being really an expenditure to buy this currency. Okay. So this takes a little bit of time to wrap your head around, but if this doesn't make sense, I'm going to leave it right there and watch this video again, or just think about it. If you have a euro and you're from Europe, you're going to supply the euro and exchange it for a dollar. So demand for dollars is going to go up, and the supply of euros is also going to go up because these are now available in the market because they've been exchanged for dollars. Okay, I hope you found that video to be helpful, and we'll talk to you in a bit.